this mansion just seems like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every time they follow a clue. Welcome back to another book review. Now today the book we're going to be talking about is The Book of Hours. Now I got this off of eBay, and when I got it, it didn't come with the cover, so it just looks like a black book. But I think whoever sent me the book felt bad that it didn't have the dust jacket, because they sent me a bunch of coupons and stuff too. But if you don't know, The Book of Hours is kind of about this man who inherits this big old mansion in England, and he starts to discover that there's little hidden secrets about it, and he has to follow clues left by the previous owner in order to figure out where the clues are leading him, and navigating trying to inherit this old house and the problems that come with that. So let's get into talking about the characters. So the characters are a man named Brian and a doctor named Cecilia. Now, at first when I started reading this, I thought Brian was like 75, 80 years old by the way he was described, because it made him seem in the beginning like he was an old man, and I was really confused. But it turns out he just had kidney stones and he couldn't get around as well, and he's actually like 30. And then you have Cecilia, who is like a nurse and a doctor in this small town in England. And then you have like their little ragtag team and the villains in Joe Evans and Hardy. And what it is I liked the characters. Brian was a kind man who was just trying to navigate things, and Cecilia at first kind of rubbed me the wrong way because everyone assumes that Brian is rich because he inherited this mansion, so they assume he's rich. And because Cecilia and this older couple are living in the mansion as like an apartment situation, they assume that he doesn't care about them at all and just wants to sell off the mansion to make a quick buck. They're mad at him as like a landlord and assume he only cares about himself until they find out he's not rich at all. But she comes off as incredibly unlikable at first because she is so ready to hate this man for something he didn't even do, which I didn't like. But let's get into my thoughts on this book. So I have never read a book where I felt like this book came into my life at the perfect moment, because this book is all about like forgiving yourself for things you can't change and learning to move on and stuff like that. And so this book, The Book of Hours, sees a man named Brian moving into this like Rose Cottage mansion in Cambridge, England, I think. And he moves there after his wife's aunt had passed away and left the house to him. And his wife had died because she had gotten sick 2 years prior, so he kind of needed to get away and just travel. And when he finds out he inherits this house, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I want to keep the house for my wife because this was a place for her to be safe and to be like to run to. I want to keep this house, but I cannot afford basically $1 million in death taxes, which that's insane to me. Like, someone dies and their family has to pay $1 million. It's whatever. So he's trying to explain to Cecilia and to this older couple that live in the house that he is not trying to take their home from them. He doesn't want that. He wants them to be able to continue living there, and he wants to keep the house because it was something his wife treasured and he cared very much for his wife. He just is broke. He cannot afford that. While trying to navigate that, we see him like starting to find these letters that Heather, the aunt, left around the mansion, and that leads him and the nosy little old neighbors on a treasure hunt, because apparently the English love their mysteries and stuff, and honestly, it gave me very House of Anubis vibe without all the like magic bits thrown in. It was very House of Anubis. And on this, we switch perspectives. We switch from Brian to Cecilia as she's like learning that she can't get too attached to her patients because you can't save everyone, which is really sad. Like, as a nurse, you want to do the best you can to protect those under your care, and you want to help them feel better, but sometimes people don't get better. And then you have Brian, who in his own way is struggling to get better and to like not forget his wife and like act like she never existed, but to move on and heal and let himself heal. This book is very much about letting yourself heal and talking about how if you don't take a moment for yourself, you're never going to heal. If you don't take a moment to face whatever is making you hurt, you are never going to heal. And the fact that taking a moment for yourself to get better and to face things that are hurting you doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you evil to take a moment for yourself to heal. As well as this little mystery sprinkled throughout where you see Cecilia, Brian, the two like neighbor couple working together to figure out these clues that were left behind. And in their search for clues, it led them to clues that the aunt didn't even intend for them to find. This mansion just seems like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every time they follow a clue. And then you have the evil gardener in Joe and the like realtor snubby rich guy in Hardy, who Hardy thinks that everything about Rose Cottage is supposed to be his, and Joe is just kind of his henchman that has his own motives for wanting to do stuff, because apparently the aunt and his dad had some sort of relationship before this that did not go well, so he thought he was entitled to the cottage, and he causes all sorts of shenanigans for them, trying to get in their way as they're just trying to go about their time finding these clues and stuff. It was a good book. Am I gonna say it was the best book I've ever read or even the best mysteries I've ever read? No, but I felt like it came into my life in a time when I very much had to hear what it had to say, and it was a fun mystery all about, and it's a relatively short book. It's only like 280 pages. You could knock this out in a couple days. It's a fun read. It's a good read, and honestly, if you want to pick it up, if the like clue hunting, mystery finding intrigues you, I don't think you're going to waste your time by reading this book. So that's all I have to say. Bye, guys.